Let's just move to the topic itself. We've been talking about generically, but let's go into deep of what is possible, what is not possible. I think first thing first, we'll focus on motor insurance for telematics. And fact of the matter is, when you talk about telematics, all new vehicles have enough and more machinery inside to track the vehicle, and a lot of insights are brought from there, where you can know how you drive, what are the challenges what kind of do you brake too often, the speeding issues, and all of that, right? So that data is available. But let's come back to where the growth is appearing to be the case, right? So generically on the motor insurance side, the growth has been fairly significant. We can almost see within last maybe 5, 7, 6 years, 5 years, the ecosystem has grown by around 40 or 50% higher, and it's expected to go higher and higher. And of course, in terms of the insurance premium on third party as well as comprehensive, they keep increasing. I mean, every day, every year I pay, I find that we are paying more money. And interestingly, it is irrespective of how you drive and what happens there. You drive less, same insurance. You drive more, same insurance. You speed, same insurance. You slow down, same insurance. And I remember when we were hearing earlier the interesting, or maybe a very I somehow feel that very naive way of doing it, saying that your color is red, you are high risk. I think those were the days where anything and everything can sell. But realistically, what you need to have is real data on how I drive. That's surely will give you how the process will be, what the risk you carry on the driver. Now it's come to the various parts and various challenges you face in the market. I think one thing clearly is that in case of maybe a court cases and all the awards, a fairly significant hike has happened. So the claims ratios are increasing on third party risks, and therefore it's going to bound to come in and hit you on the pricing. So I think very very critical that we understand that third party risk has increased in the market. There's also, which I point that the drivers who are good drivers are actually subsidizing for the risky drivers. So if you go on the road, somebody who's actually doing almost like drag racing has the same risk as you and me are, and I may still carry risk, but the point is still that if I'm driving at 90 or 100 and overspeeding, my risk should be less, right? So it's a flat pricing still. Interesting part is that I bought my insurance again, and while in the country, many people have launched their telematics based insurance, but actually, honest answer is nothing was visible easily, right? When we were searching for this engagement or this session, we couldn't find too much, and even those who had built these products are also hiding it 3 levels below the main page, right? So I think it is something which is not coming. Also, to a certain extent, when those who launch this product may be also thinking, why should we cut down my revenues? And to that extent, we have not seen amazingly deep engagement. So I think nobody's trying to sell, nobody's trying to push. It's just a product which exists today. And I'll try to define the products very soon. From an accident perspective, also, while we said that there's an increase in the kind of awards which the courts are doing, there's also a frequency which is increasing. The number of accidents are increasing rapidly, and a lot of mortality issues are also coming from there, right? So, and a bunch of it is because of overspeeding. So. You go on the road and you see overspeeding all the time, and that is the reason why more accidents are happening. And of course, you have to look at our roads. The roads are choked completely, right? There's where's the space to get more vehicles. So if somebody drives really hard, it gets worse and worse. And of course, there is a risk of inflated claims. But if you were to use telematics, you know what's happening. Was there a real speeding, or was it exaggerated claims were made or damages were made? So if you have some device to track, it gets even better. You exactly will know where the accident happened and why it had happened, right? What was the speed of the vehicle when it happened? So it just brings more intelligence at each point of time. Now, look, this is sort of a revelation to me as well. As I said, that pay as you drive is already a product available in the market from HDFC Argo. And what they're saying is that if you don't drive too much, say if you're driving below 2,500 kilometers, and then you will basically get 25% of discount on your own damage, that kind of insurance. So more you drive, lower it is. If you are driving more than 10,000 kilometers, of course, then it can, then in that case, you have zero benefits out there. So what they are trying to do is reduce your cost of insurance by giving you sort of a, I would say, cashback kind of stuff. But this makes sense, right? If my vehicle is not driven as much, you might as well not claim. In fact, there is a use case also I read, not in India, but internationally, where the base price was that if the vehicle is there, you take an insurance, let's say, I don't know, maybe $50 per month. But if you drive your vehicle, only then you have to take the top up, right? Otherwise, you don't. So when it starts up, you start the vehicle only when your insurance starts. And that's also on kilometer base. So you can take some base insurance policy, and then the incremental is based on how you drive and how much you drive. So I think interesting pays you drive is what you call it, and Ergo has it. Now, the second version is obviously pay how you drive. Now, how you drive is also crucial. If you drive too rashly or too much, and if you're a dangerous driver, you ought to have to pay for it, right? So your insurance will increase. So idea is that can we build a metric based structure out there, and based on your driver score, you get valued. And interestingly, my MG Hector already evaluates me for my driving. So if there is a fast braking, it gives me a lower score, and if I do very decently well, it is a better score. Interestingly, obviously, all the time my driver gets better score than I do. And of course, there is a user-based discount policy as well from Tata AIG. So it's not something which is not there in the market. It is in their market. I think there was a lot of talk that it will revolutionize the way insurance happens in India, but it's not there. I don't know why. Maybe it is because the structure is not laid out. Maybe the companies are also not marketing. The other side is also that you may not be able to measure your risk as much easily because of this new data points. There's also going to be a lower risk, lower maybe a premium which you'll get because of that. So there may be a revenue compression, which is the reason why in many places it is not coming on top pages, and people are not heavily using. I also did not know, as I said, that this kind of product existed in the market at all, right? So let to be told that it is yet not in the market. My sense is its usage within the vehicle insurance will be less than maybe 0.1% or somewhere around that. We will do a better search on it next time and come back on that. Now, for any telematics to exist, you need to have a few thought process already built in. One is obviously you have to integrate yourself directly with the car itself. All the cars come with a decent amount of telematics already brought in. So can you integrate with that? So there's a high chance over a period of time that the the car the motor the OEMs or the bigger vehicles in the country, they will actually come back and build their own insurance company. Why not, right? So for example, if you have, let's say, argument wise, if you have Maruti has millions and millions car, what if they have their own insurance policies embedded within the car and it comes with the car itself, right? So it can change the volume altogether. But you can have both ways. You can have that inside, or you can which is already built in and you integrate, or you can actually put things like a dongle which is fixed inside the system, so you can get the data out and sort of utilize it. And of course, this data collection will be largely done by the insurance firm because they will need this data for underwriting. And then it comes to somebody has to, some firm, some activity has to do analysis. I'm just giving example of these companies, but look, within the ecosystem, there will be other players as well, and who will evaluate this data. And based on this data, you obviously will use it for underwriting or risk behavior, risk score. You'll also use them for claims. So I think those use cases exist. But also one critical part is that you should be able to give this information back to the driver so they can improve their driving. So I think the way you have maybe a I'll take care app from ICICI Lombard or Caringly Yours by Bajaj. Both these platforms are giving you data back so that you know how you're driving and can you improve from there. Otherwise, last thing is that your data is taken, but you're not shared any information and you don't really know what's happening there. So interesting stuff all the while. Now coming to how would it work? What are the frameworks which exist today in the market? Uh, I think there's a tons of it which we can talk about. But generally, if you look at it from an insurance perspective, this data point we checked out in the market. This is more global by nature. That over a period of time, maybe 3 to 4 5 years, the scale will keep happening, right? So I think this market is slowly gaining traction, right? It's not very deep. As of now, the penetration is just 5 to 6% of global auto policy. So it's not that it's India it's very low and other places very high. Actually, other countries are also struggling to get it up. It is also, as I said, linked to the premium attached. The insurance company will have to cut down their own revenue to make it happen. But let it be happen. From a India perspective, I think they have allowed it to happen. So many players have, as I said, have launched it, and maybe in next maybe 2 3 years, we're expecting it to reach at least 5% of the motor insurance. So it depends on how the campaigns are run, how communication is done in the market, how the scale up happens. But it's a work in progress, not immediately available. Not. I mean, I was talking to all the ecosystem players to get this data out. I didn't hear too much about it. I think whenever we speak about it, people say, "Ha, RI, give us some time. It'll scale up." And I keep repeating that when I'm looking at this data, buying my insurance. I think my insurance company also did not tell me that there's another product which is exactly the same which I was looking at, which is I'm not a heavy driver, and therefore I would have preferred that. Now, what are the consumer benefits and ecosystem benefits both ways, right? I think it's personalized premiums. I think there was a period when I left my bank. In my bank, I used to drive it every day to my office. And once I become entrepreneur, which is when I started my company, I actually moved from there to my car started being I mean, it was not moving. I was moving on taxis, autos, buses, trains. I stopped moving because on a vehicle because I was trying to figure this out. And of course, to be very honest, I was also trying to ensure that we don't spend too much. And of course, there's no parking space and all of that, right? From that, from a heavy usage, I moved to a low usage. Still have to pay the same premium, and now I'm back to a medium usage because my driver takes me around all the time, and I travel a lot within the city as well. So I think it's moved back as a higher case. And but in the along the journey, every time I was paying similar insurance. It doesn't matter what the usage was. Interestingly, as I said, my driver is fairly safe. Touch wood, we don't have an accident next day, but good driving habits are not really promoted. There's no benefit for that. Also, telematics, as I said, can also help you in getting data on customer verification. You know where the accident happened, if there's any inflated claims, and all of that data points. I think, and of course, you can add it with some level of data from the dashboard as well, and maybe a dash cam as well. So you can actually check it that what is a real claim or it's a fraudulent claim. So again, from an insurance company perspective, it is useful. And from a driver perspective, of course, you get this risky behavior automatically coming in front of you. So all in all, a lot of newer frameworks and insights exist today. Now, to look at it from a framework perspective, the market, obviously, as I said, a lot of players are right now have launched or in the process of launching these products. As I said, technology is a big barrier because you have to put something inside the vehicle. You have to put something inside. Either you have to integrate with the backend system, the car directly in their data system, or you have to deploy a physical device. So it's both complicated. It's not the easiest of the jobs, but still work in progress. There's a bigger use case will come of this is not in the retail side. Maybe it will come on the fleet side because fleets move a lot and there's enough of telematics already brought in because the in these cases the bigger companies or transport companies want to know data about the vehicle all the time, where they're driving, what the behavior is. So it's a mix of what already exists in the market, and with that you actually can integrate and you can sort of reduce the group premiums as well if you can. I think there are also challenges that the drivers, the users also don't want to share continuous data of the driving, right? So that's a complicated model where you want to get better insurance, but you don't want to pay for it or share your data all the time. Where are you going? What are you doing? So I think people will not prefer it. So I think that also has an impact. But therefore, you need to have a consent architecture. You would have heard. I'm sure if you have not heard about our DPDPA, what the challenges are and what the activities are, you can have some of the sessions from Shashank on our YouTube channel, thedigitalfifth.com, or rather the Digital Fifth as a channel which is on YouTube. You can see a lot of that, but again, those are also critical, that how the data can be shared. And of course, in terms of, as I said, on effort side, somebody has to put an effort of integrating and activating and also keeping the data alive all the time. If there are any issues or maybe if there are any breakdowns, hope that data or the linkages do not go down. You also would need continuous data to be uploaded, which means that you need sort of maybe a 4G connection, so that data is uploaded all the time on cloud. Otherwise, you do whatever you do, but you're not getting data. Personally, I did this exercise long back, almost like 10 years back in one of my previous role, and we were trying to get data from the tractor onto the cloud and trying to figure out a bit more about the information on the vehicle. This was more related to the vehicle loan or a tractor loan. We wanted to ensure that vehicle was not moving outside a particular sphere. Our challenge we faced, we did not cover the whole distance of deploying it, but the challenge was, one, in those days, those devices were very expensive, and it was a challenge. And the second was, we honestly on those days were using it very limited use case, that the tractor should not leave a particular area. So the use case was limited, and we just had to let go. But if I look at in the current realm, there are thousands and lakhs of vehicles running on the road. So many commercial vehicles are there, and they're all telematics is already inside in most of the cases. So if you can put the whole framework in, put all the integration in, my sense is benefits can be achieved for everyone in the market. And as I said, from a telematics perspective, this telematics market is growing at a rapid pace. More and more fleets are actually having these devices, because it's all powered by or paid for by the corporates. They would want to know where the vehicles are. And therefore, in terms of for them, they can look at from a fleet efficiency, they can also look at fuel efficiency, they can look at downtime improvement. And one of the benefit obviously is the insurance side. So I think it's a mix. It's going to ride on top of what exists today. In retail market, it may take more time, but in the fleet side, I think it'll move faster, as far as I can think of. Uh, I think from a role of telematics, I think we already spoke about it largely. We should see maybe reduction in risky behavior. We should also see reduction in at-fault collisions over a period of time. They're all assumptions. There's all pointers which we picked up from the market. And of course, claim frequency will also come down, because now everybody's under surveillance. And if there is any issue, the system would have caught it automatically. So you can't really go ahead and claim that your vehicle was stuck earlier, but now let's just mix through claims and push through. So I think I think once it was done, it was from a repair perspective. Now it's basically a model which is you are able to predict the issues and solve for it. Hopefully, as I said, the vehicles are improving further. So they're also trying to reduce the collision rather than call out once the collision happens. So I think along with time, hopefully the claims should come down as the technology improves as such. And of course, this data would also work from an insurance perspective. Uh, I think I'll pause now. And again, as I said, would want to take some feedback or questions. Not that we know everything, as I keep telling, even in lending, where we have done enough work, every now and then we find new information as such we are not aware of. And therefore, I'm not saying that I'm the pundit of insurance, but I have to take any questions or at least park it for myself, if we can take it going forward. So you can share on the chat box, and in terms of the question which I just got from one of you, was asking that you would also be interested in joining India InsurTech Summit. I think you can join that there. Just give us a feedback, and we share you the complimentary pass as well for us to join. I think we are looking at largely people who are from insurance background. or who are really interested in transforming insurance. And to the extent we are basically overall rolling out 300 such passes overall. I think we are close to maybe 200 or numbers. Happy to roll out 100 more because rest of them are already reserved for others. So I think this is the link is already shared. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand or maybe put it on the Q&A or a chat box, and I'll try to respond. Let's continue with the session. Yes, Shiv. So let me just give you a chance to speak. Yeah, Shiv, please go ahead. Let me see if I can respond back. Yes, Shiv.
Yes, Samir. Hi. Good to be talking to you. I hope I'm audible.
You are audible, Shiv.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Samir, there was a story I was reading on newspaper, not the newspaper, but digital news today about certain insurance companies, quite a lot of them, in fact, seven and eight reputed ones. And I mean, more particular, talking about health insurance thing and about their claim rejection ratio. So I'll share with you my story. In March, my claim got rejected with one of the most prominent health insurance company, and the reason given to me was that I booze, right? So what happens typically is when I go to a doctor, he would typically ask me, "Bhaiya, you do you smoke?" And I cannot be lying. So I
Hmm.
say yes, and I tell them ki I take one or two sticks a day. Likewise for beer also, that I tell them that okay, I take, but not more than 1 or 2 pints a week. But can that be a reason to reject the claim which I have been unconditionally paying for? The premiums I have been paying for 5 7 years, and that was the feeling when my claim got rejected in March. And today I happen to read the story. So your view on this, and how should a normal creature like me should navigate through situation like this? Thanks a lot, buddy.
No, thanks, Shiv. So, look, this is a very specific point. I think that will be a next level of evolution, which is to see inside the vehicle. So, again, the way you're talking, we are talking right now about the ecosystem where we are checking the vehicle's movement and we are paying insurance without knowing, despite knowing how much it has moved. People are paying exactly the same insurance. I think next will be they will put some device inside, or maybe they will check today they check if you're a smoker, yes or no. And if you are if you drink, yes or no. They don't check how much you drink. Is it one stick a day or 10 sticks a day? It's all clubbed as one. So I think we would move towards that data point, but by when I don't know. I think that I also believe the same challenges exist for so many of them in the market where they're not smokers, but they may still smoke here and there. But I mean, they may get caught as and when the claim happens because because most probably those 1 or 2 sticks may actually be visible, and of course you will not lie, right? I think last thing we all do is we want to lie. Nobody wants to lie, right? So to the extent you're absolutely right. But is there an answer today available in the market? Not at all. But that's a next level evolution where somebody could check the actual habits as well. Today, what best is possible is that you have a wearable. So maybe I'll move to the area of health and talk about it. But your use case is slightly at least 5 to 10 years away. We are at a stage where we are basically giving the same insurance cover to all. It's just age based, right? Age based, maybe sex based, and maybe some data point. It is yet to evolve to that level. So I think that's all I can respond back to you, Shiv, on this. Now let's move to the next area in terms of claims. So this is a let's understand the story from the insurance perspective. I think just look at the increase in claims. It has moved from, let's say, 18,000 crores. Now it is 80,000 crores in just 10 years. So it is moved faster than the way the business has grown. And if you look at incurred claim ratio is very high. The percentage of people who are actually claiming is increasing. The amount of claim is increasing. And technically, what has resulted in that many of these companies may not be making money on you, right? Because of these extra claims on health. And of course, why it has happened is logically so that I think we are all in a world where we do have these lifestyle issues, right? I mean, the fact of the matter is, I'm 53, 54, but how much time I'm spending on the desk, or how much time I'm spending on the on exercising. I think honest answer is I'm also not that great, right? Largely working, and maybe we may end up in those diseases as well, right? So I think lifestyle diseases are a big issue right now, and because of the sedentary lifestyle. So the claims are increasing rapidly, and of course, there's also a higher cost of hospitals, right? So hospitals are becoming more expensive. Technically, I took an insurance once, or other insurance claim once. Insurance I've taken, but a claim once. And I will be honest, I didn't have a big issue, but amount of payment we made was exceptional, right? I just can't imagine the price for doing that activity. Of course, it was not life-threatening. It was a normal, the maybe surgery. But when I went through, I realized that, okay, I think for minor surgery as well. I'm talking about maybe almost 9 years back, we had to pay for some minor surgery, some 1.5, 2 lakhs, exceptionally large, right? And my hospitalization is just one day, but it does cost that much, right? So I think it says where we are, where hospitalization is getting more expensive, and more and more us are getting unwell because of the health, the way we manage our health, and therefore, in these cases, logically, wearables can be the game changer, right? They can help a lot in improving the from a insurance perspective, their understanding of you, and of course for you, if you, let's say, behave well, you exercise well, you walk enough, and all of that, and your heartbeat is okay, and all of that, you're bound to get a lower insurance premium as well. So I think we can link these two things. Disease issues are increasing, the costs are increasing, and maybe wearables will ensure that some of us will behave better. I remember wearing, I think, Fitbit almost 10 years back or 8 years back. And I think for the period I was wearing Fitbit, for that brief period of 1.5, 2 years, I think I actually was walking not badly. I think I was at least 7,000 was the normal number which I would walk to, if not 10,000. But the moment I think I took it off, it is back to lower number. So I think it can be a compulsive behavior. If we do get that we are these devices, we might just behave differently. I think it's the way it is happening is simple. I think device, lastly, it will be as part of your smartwatch, or a fitness band, or a health platform. We know what the all of us have the devices with us in the mobile and others. That data of the heart rate, the steps, and all of that is what they want to track you on, and give you a score. And then based on that, they will give you incentives, and maybe renewal benefits as well. So I think that's a loop which is expected, obviously, in this ecosystem. But behind this all, the kind of tech you have to deploy, kind of integration you do, is going to be not that easy. My personal experience is that in the lending business, when we were used to say that there's so much of new data coming in the market and this is what you can do, answer is that it looked easier than it thought. I used to bring a lot of let's say agri text to the table, and maybe oil related stuff to the table, and bring to the lender saying, to boss, I'm going to get you data from these industries, and you will be able to know that, okay, how much oil the guy has sold, and what is the quality of oil, and or maybe on the milk side, I can give you data on how the milk is getting sold, or it can be for granaries and others. I'll give you data. And the fact of the matter is that bankers did not know how to use that data, because underwriting is not easy, and you have to create policies around that. So it looks easier than I thought on day one. And even today, most of these complicated use cases are not brought within the banking ecosystem. They still remain outside. They're still powered by few data points. So when you do these kind of changes, please don't think of front end and all of that. You have to think about how your underwriting engine will work, how your claim process will work. Otherwise, you will end up creating a environment which is only good to see, but never used enough, because it looks like a college project. So interestingly, we have I think within the Senate session as well. I think somebody from Goki is also there. So Goki has launched Insure Plus, a very interesting product. You buy this product for, I think, $10,000. But within that, it's already enabling it health insurance by Kotak and both life in general. And what it does is, if you have a sedentary life, your eligible insurance cover is less, and if you are really fit, technically you move up to even 5 lakh of health insurance. So a device buying along with insurance embedded, which is linked to your behavior, is what they bring to the table. Interesting use case, and very well done. I think from the market depth perspective, what have they done? I think I'm not going there. I think that's for another day. But I think this is what I thought was an interesting use case, which is already available in the market. You guys can go and check their website as well. I think from a Aditya Birla perspective, that their health insurance is an interesting product. They basically have an app, and where they track you based on devices. They track you on the steps you take and all of that. But at the end, you do get some benefits. You do get discount for renewals, kind of stuff. So I think, again, tracking your behavior is what they do, and get you sort of lower rate if you behave better, right? So again, use case, and who's losing in this business? This is win-win for both, right? For a buyer, you get a healthier, so you don't have to go to the hospital, and for the insurance, it's better because if you don't go to hospital, you have no claims, and therefore it is easier both ways. So I think rare are the cases where it's a win-win for both. Same is the case where you see I'll take care app by ICS Lombard. So again, they check you, they validate you, and again give you a better rate for insurance. So very, very positive development. But I think technically these devices have gone further ahead. Insurance is still lagging. We still don't see enough usage of these platforms in the market, enough sales in the market. Now, in terms of technically from fitness trackers, the market is growing rapidly. So it's not that you can't embed yourself. So from an insurance company's perspective, you don't need to have your own device and all of that. I think that's not the place where we think we should get in. So they're already there. You have to embed your product inside on those platforms. So that when the variables are there, you are going to ride on top of that. You're not going to launch more variables, or sponsor those variables saying that's free for with my insurance. You're going to ride on top of that. That's how you should think. India obviously has given a nod to the wellness, so it's not that it's not permitted. All of that is already permitted. In terms of adoption, I think very limited usage is there. Let me put it like that. But those who do, 20-25% of them actually actively redeem the rewards points. So if you do get discount, they take it, all of that, right? So I think as of now, and also you have to look at from a market perspective, India is right now the second largest smartwatch market, right? So within that, what is possible, you have to check. And of course, there is also a risk which is there, is that so much of data is available, which has to be used really carefully. Otherwise, you have issues which are linked to DPDPA, right? Data privacy. You would not want to sort of take your data out and use this for wrong use case. So you need to be able to create a good data governance framework around that, so that you don't end up in the wrong side as well. And of course, there's also a pointer where when you launch these apps, I mean, let me put it in my case as well. I used that Fitbit device for some time. I just left it one day and never went back, right? So I think there's a lot of drop-offs happen in these markets. How do you ensure that you keep the customer active on the platform forever, so that you get this data all the time and keep renewing with them? So not again a very easy task. I think when you do this, there are guidelines available regulatorily. It's all obviously permitted, but I think there has to be a sort of a data validation for what purposes you can use this data, what purpose you can't use this data. Can you use this for third-party sort of advertisement? You have to take the right content level, the consent from the customer. Otherwise, you will have a different challenges as well. You will breach the regulation as well, right? And of course, generically in the market, you have few regulations are surrounding that from a data perspective. A lot of use cases are getting built in the country from each of these players, from entity to entity, and some of them have launched, some of them not are in the process of launching. You have interesting use case of Vitality, where they're basically again integrating fitness wearables within life and health. So I think it's a global movement. Is it the fastest in India? Not really, as I said, but I think along with time it'll sort of scale up. And with this, I think I'll pause again and look for some queries. I think there are some queries. Let me just pick up those queries as well. Let me see if I can respond back. I think Sanjay is asking a specific question. Is wearable or mobile tracking based insurance available with radio taxis on like Ola and Uber? So we'll check back on that. I don't know right now. But what is possible is that from a fleet management perspective, they will be giving this for their drivers as well. I'll check back and come back on that. Um, I think Akriti is asking, insurance companies increase the premium every day, every in the name of inflation without any changes in the sum insured. I'm specifically talking about health insurance. Is there a regulatory control on such unreasonable pricing strategies by the health insurance companies? Look, from a pricing perspective, those controls exist today. I think the fact of the matter is you also have a competitive market, so you're up to you to do that. But I think, do we have an exact number they can go to? I don't think that exists today. It's a competitive market. Frameworks already built in. You can always migrate to another one. But is it from a pure customer perspective, we are unhappy? I think so. This is the truth right now. I think whenever we look at any product or insurance. So while I speak about it, I'll tell you my own challenges right now. I want to buy a home insurance. I want to buy a health insurance. I want to also buy a life insurance. I have some of them already, right? It's not that it's 000. But when we go for a top up or increase or whatever it is, I think every time I find that it's very tough to understand what they're selling. To be very honest, even if whatever I go back and open my policies, whatever I bought till now, and are all from leading ones, I think it's almost impossible to figure out what they will do to me or my family if I'm not there. I think it's complicated. So I think Akriti, your challenge and my challenge is still the same. Insurance is complicated. It's very difficult to understand what is getting sold. I think the only product which I actually understand is term insurance because the product is clear and that's what maybe the original objective is. Rest all is very convoluted, not easy to understand. So I think our job, your job, and my job is to go to the market and sort of help the ecosystem in learning more about it, right? So please do show if you have, I mean, raise your hand if you have any more questions. In terms of feedback, please do share your feedback. We will come back with those questions and responses as I see forward, right? So please do ask questions. And from the event perspective, as I said, I think somebody's asking me a question that where is it the event and sort of that. So let me just try to show. So event is planned on 17th of July, which is almost like a 2.5, 3 weeks away. We are all set right now for the event. I think if you go to the website, maybe I'll instead of going here, let me see if I can take you to the website itself. It's indiainsurtechsummit.com. Yeah. And here, I think the way we are planning, you can of course see the sessions and panels we have planned. There is also a next session which is coming on, which is focused on global pulse and what is happening outside India and what we can learn from that. That session is planned on first, so you can join that as well. From a speaker's perspective, we wanted to bring speakers from the ecosystem, from an insurance perspective, all the roles, the CEO role, the CTO roles, and maybe CEO roles, and maybe security roles. So we wanted to bring the width. We also wanted to bring somebody from bank assurance. So we have people like Sanjeev Roy joining us as well. We also wanted to ensure that we bring a lot of investors as well, because InsurTech needs more investment as well. So we brought some, and of course we wanted to bring somebody from the InsurTech business as well, like Colleen or Ayan. They come from that side. So I think it's a very, very wide ecosystem we are bringing in. Right now, we have closed, I think, 25, 26 speakers, and there are another 10 which are onboarding now. So you should, on that day, almost some more. So I think 40, 45 people is what we are looking at. This hotel, this event is in Orica, and this is 17th of July, which is, as I said, is 2.5 weeks away. Orica is a hotel in very close to Terminal 2 near the airport. We've taken the entire hotel, and you can join us on that event. It's a full day event. And of course, we as usual in our events, it'll be deep engagement. A lot of speakers will come, a lot of individual sessions will come, and we will also have maybe a investor bazaar where early stage startups can actually pitch to VCs, and of course VCs can invest in the startups as well. That's the intent. And then of course there will be around 25 odd stalls. So technically the largest event is what we are organizing on InsurTech. Hope to see you guys all there. I think there's one more question I see. Let me just see if I can respond back. Yeah, so Akriti, you can respond back to our query, and my team will reach out to you and release a competitive price. So as I said, anybody who's interested in the event can actually share the feedback, and we will come back and share your, as long as the profile is matching as well. So we would want the profiles largely matching with the InsurTech ecosystem. So thank you guys. This is great, and we'll be back on first with our next webinar. Thank you. Thank you.